Hey everybody, this is David here, or as I'm known as is Actlikeagrandmaster or Chessman. I'm here today because I want to talk about how to analyze chess games. My channel is primarily based on analyzing chess games, so I thought it would be a good idea to start a series where I'm analyzing chess games and showing you how to do it. Today we're going to be using chess.com as the tool to analyze our games. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go to chess.com and create a free account. Once you've done that, you're going to want to play a game. On the homepage, you can play a 10-minute game. You can start a new game and play 10-minute, 5-minute, 3-minute, 1-minute, 45-minute, I think. Any time frame you want. You can also play against bots, which I recommend at first because you can play at all different levels. Once you've played a game and it's over, what you want to do is you want to go to this little hat and you want to go to where it says analysis and you click on that. And once you've done that, an analysis board will pop up. So basically, you have all your pieces and you have this bar on the side here. What this bar tells you is who's winning. And if it's like right now, it says it's plus 0.31. White, just because white goes first, it has an advantage of 0.33. It might be 0.37, 0.34, 0.31. It fluctuates. So white already has the advantage by having the first move because it can play the best move. And I'm just going to show you. Actually, I've basically 0.33 or 0.31. If both players play really well for the entire game, it will be a draw. If basically what people know is if you have an advantage of one pawn or 1 point or less, it's probably going to be a draw. So what we're trying to do is get this advantage up to where it's over 1 point. If it's over 1 point, then it's either a draw or a win. If it's plus 1.01 or higher, it's either a win for white or it's a draw. If both players play really well the entire game, it's either going to be a win for white or a draw. If it's negative 1.01, then it's either going to be a win for black or a draw. All right. So another thing actually is another way to look at it, since when you're playing a game, you won't have this evaluation bar in front of you to help you decide who's winning. But if you ever get at least 2 pawns, an advantage with 2 pawns, then you should win the game. Unless you blunder, you should win the game. Now, in case you don't know, the value of the pieces goes like this. Each pawn is worth 1 point, or 1 pawn. So this pawn is worth 1 pawn, this pawn is worth 1 pawn, this pawn is worth 1 pawn. Now when we come to the pieces, this knight is worth 3 pawns. So if you're up a knight, you're up 3 pawns. This bishop is also worth 3 pawns. So if you go up a bishop, you're up 3 pawns. That goes for the same for this bishop and this knight. They're each worth 3 pawns. Now rooks are worth 5 points each. And the queen is worth 9 pawns. If we're going by pawns, then it's 9 pawns, but the computer goes by points. So it would be 9 points. Each pawn is worth 1 point, and like I said, a knight is worth 3 pawns, a bishop is worth 3 pawns, a rook is worth 5 pawns, a queen is worth 9 pawns, and there's nothing for a king, because if you lose the king, you lose the game. All right. So again, we're trying to get this advantage to be over. If you get an advantage of 2 points, then you're going to win. If both players play perfectly, it's going to be a win, which means you'll eventually checkmate the black king. If it's +2 advantage for white, then eventually you will checkmate the black king. If it's a -2 advantage for black, then black will eventually checkmate the white king. That's a fact. All right. So from here, you're going to want to go to Load from Game History. You're going to click on that button. And then all your games are going to load up. And you click on the game that you want to view. I'm going to click this one. It's the last game I played. And I'm going to add it. And there it popped up. All right. So like I said, on the right here is your game. Now above that is the analysis toolbar. What this shows are the best moves. So there are 5 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So at all times, this will tell me what the 5 best moves are. You can change how many lines are here by going to your settings here. So if you click on settings, this box will pop up. And under number of lines, you can change it to 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Now, another settings that I have clicked on is under interface, and it's this suggestion arrow. I have this clicked on. What this does is it puts this little arrow on the board. This arrow will always tell me what the best move is. Sometimes it changes. Another thing you'll notice where this toolbar is it says depth. And every few seconds, the depth will get further. It'll go to 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. And every time it does, these moves will change and the numbers will change because it fluctuates. It's not sure what the advantage is. It keeps trying different moves, and the further it goes into depth, the more accurate the answer. But it really doesn't matter because, okay, right now it says 0.24. It's under 1 point, so it's most likely going to be a draw. If you play this, it's going to be a draw. If you play the next line, which is 0.22, again, it's less than a point. It's not even half a point. So it's going to be a draw. There are going to have to be some mistakes in the game before someone wins. Okay. So let's get into the game. Okay, I'm playing the bot called Martin. And let's play the first move. Okay, so this is what you should do. Every time you make a move, you need to look at the evaluation. And you need to see if it goes up or down. After playing this move, it now says I have a 0.25 plus advantage. So white has an advantage of 0.25 if the players play this line. So if both players, like I said, play good moves the entire game, then it's 0.28. It may go up or down. See, the computer is limited. It's not perfect. If it was perfect, it would tell us how many moves until a draw. It would say 80 moves and it's a draw, or 40 moves and it's a draw. But it doesn't tell us that. If it was 2 points ahead, if it was 2.02, then if it was smart, it would tell us how many moves until mate. But it doesn't tell us this. It's not that advanced yet. Okay. So you have your game and you're playing it. Okay, so e4. So according to the computer, it says the best move is e5. Let's see if it's played. It was played in the game. And again, you want to check every move. It will take a while to analyze your games, but that's just the way it is. Okay, so what we're checking for is if a move is a mistake. The move after playing e5, the the advantage is still under a point. So it's not not a mistake. It's a normal move. Okay, so the next move is knight f3. Let's see. Again, 0.27, 0.20. It's not a mistake. Okay, so after d5, now when we look at the analysis, it says 0.95 or 0.92. So this is an inaccuracy. Now it says 1.03. So from what we know, because of this move, it may be a win for white. If both sides play perfectly, white may eventually checkmate the black king. But we want to, and what you should do, because we're trying to find whether it's a small inaccuracy or a big blunder. So what you should do is you want to play it a few moves, maybe 5 or 10 moves, to see if you win any material. It looks like you might. It says 1 point, so it might be you win a pawn. So let's see. The best move is e takes d5, which was played, so I'm going to play it. Now let's see what the best move for black is. Okay. It says the best move is e4. Now, that was not played in the game, but we're going to play it. What you should do is play this out for about 5 or 10 moves. So we're going to play the queen here. So these are, again, this blue arrow is telling me what the best moves are. Notice this pawn can't capture the knight because it's pinned to the king. Okay, so the next best move is queen out. It could be knight, but it doesn't really matter. They're both worth about the same. We're just checking one line. We're seeing if white wins any material. So the next best move is knight here. Next best move is knight out. Next best move is knight to c3. And if you notice, it now says the advantage is 1.46. So it originally said about 0.99, 1.06, somewhere around there. But as we played the moves, it's actually higher. See, the computer a few moves ago didn't know it was this high. This is why I'm saying the computer is limited in its ability. It's pretty advanced, but it's not the most advanced. Like there's still some progress to be made. Okay. So I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 moves. And now I look at the board and I count the material. We both have queens, we both have rooks. We each have 2 bishops and 2 knights, 2 bishops and 2 knights. Now I count the pawns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it looks like white wins a pawn. But I want to go at least a couple moves more because I want to see if black wins the pawn back. So that's the best move. So we're going to go maybe 4 more moves. and h3. When you analyze your games, you should really enjoy it. You should want to dive deep. The more you dive deep, the more you learn, and the more the more knowledge you'll have. And you'll get better at finding tactics. You'll get better at understanding positions. Okay, so what I conclude is black might get the pawn back, but what it means is white's development must be better. So white must have the initiative. And if white continues to carry out the initiative and plays perfect moves, then white will eventually checkmate the black king. That is what I conclude. So I no longer need these moves. So I'm going to delete them and continue on with the game. And to do that, you right click, you click delete move, and okay. So we were analyzing d5. The computer told us this was an inaccuracy, and basically white wins a pawn. Black might get the pawn back, but we're ahead in development and we got the initiative. So if we keep the initiative, we'll eventually checkmate the king, maybe in 40 or 60 moves. That's basically what it means. So we're going to continue with the game. Okay, so now it says the best move is queen e2, but in the game we played, there may be more than one good move, by the way. So in the game we played e takes d5. And sometimes the analysis thing is a little slow, especially when I'm running OBS at the same time. So doing analysis and using the chess engine takes some memory from your computer. So sorry if it's a little slow. So anyways, it says the best move is e4, but in the game, the opponent played queen takes d5. And again, we want to check. So at this point, we're at about a pawn advantage. Now it jumped. It went to 1.12. Again, in my opinion, if it's over a pawn, if you are 2 pawns if you have an advantage of 2 pawns, you're going to win the game. That's the way it is. But if you have over a pawn, then you're probably still going to win. It's not definite. It might be a draw, but you're probably going to win. So now it's 1.24. The closer we get to 2, the more likely it's going to be a win. So it says the next best move is knight c3. Let's see if it was played. And that was the move that was played. So far, so good. Now it says the best move for black is queen to c5. But in the game, queen d6 was actually played. Now it jumped up, the advantage jumped up to 1.36. So we're getting closer and closer. If bishop b5 check is the next move, then we're up about 1.35 about. So again, it was this move, queen d6, was another small inaccuracy. All right, so let's play the next move. And it was bishop b5. Now it says the next best move for black is knight to c6. But in the game, bishop to d7 was played. And let's see how much of an inaccuracy that was. So now it's 1.4. It went from 1.3 to 1. Now it's 1.5. So to me, 1.5 or higher, to me, you're probably definitely going to win the game. But the normal standard is 2. 2 points or 2 pawns. Okay. So it says the next best move for white is to castle. So, and it looks like in the game we did castle. Again, I'm sorry it's a bit slow, but running the engine with the OBS studio with my recorder, it's kind of slowing up the computer a bit. So it's actually running pretty good considering, but it's a little slow. But anyways, so it says next best move for black is knight to e7. But in the game, they played knight to f6. All right, it jumped up. So now the advantage is over 2 points. It's 2.20, 2.18, 2.5, 2.05. It fluctuates. And there's actually 2 moves where it's over 2. So now you don't even have to play perfect. There's 2 moves that you can play and you're going to win the game. Knight takes e5 and rook e1. And in the game, we played knight takes e5. So if you're analyzing your game to help figure out what your chess opening is going to be, you could stop the video right here. And basically, after knight takes e5, you're up 2 pawns. So what you'd want to do is write the line down from the beginning of the game, starting with 1 e4, e5, knight f3, d5, e takes d5, queen takes d5, knight c3, queen d6, bishop b5 check, bishop d7, castle, kingside, knight f6, knight takes e5. In fact, you would actually want to stop at knight f6 because, again, like we said, there's actually 2 moves that win. There's knight takes, whoops. There's knight takes e5 and there's rook e1. So it looks like, and we can check, but it looks like knight takes e5 works because it looks like white just wins a pawn. And it doesn't look like black can get it back. So basically, the reason why white will win eventually is because you're up material, you're up a pawn, and your pieces are still better. All right. So you would want to, what you'd want to do is you'd want to write the line down with one line being knight takes e5 and a second line being rook to e1. And you'd write that in your notebook or on your computer, and then you'd memorize those lines. You'd memorize both those lines. And then you'd have that from now on. And you do that with every game. Now, we're going to just go through the game because it's good practice, and it's good to check out where the other mistakes are and to figure out why they're mistakes. It's good practice. And when you're analyzing other people's games, like when you're analyzing like professional games, it's fun to see where the big blunders happen. But if you watch any of my other videos, I do my best analyzing the games of the pros. I do my best. I'm better when I'm analyzing less experienced players because they typically make more blunders, and the blunders are more easily to understand. The pros, they don't make too many mistakes unless it's bullets chess. All right, so we're going to try to just breeze through the rest of this game. All right, so let's see. Man, it's really freezing up. All right, so we went knight takes e5, and we know it's over 2-point advantage. So we're going to win the game as long as we don't make any mistakes. The next best move for black is bishop to e7, but let's see what was actually played in the game. It was h6. And let's see what this does to the analysis, to the advantage. So if I play d4, it's +4. So huge advantage. So h6 was a huge blunder. And most likely what you'd want to do, what you could do, is play through it about 5 or 10 moves or until you win material, because most likely when it's a blunder this big, it means you won material. So let's see if I can do it with the computer being slow right now. But d4 is the best move, and it was played in the game. So the best move is bishop e7, which was not played in the game. And then knight to c4 is what white should play. Then queen b4 is the best move for black. And queen e2. So far, white hasn't won any more material. So I want to keep going, because it's only been 1, 2, 3, 4 moves. Usually I go either 5 or 10 moves. Either 10 moves or to the point where you win material. So knight c6 is the best move. Trying to figure out, why is this worth 4 points? Why was that h6 move a blunder, being 4 points? So a3. And the computer now says it's like 4.5. And it says the best move is to take the pawn, which is attacking the queen. And the best move is to take the bishop. And the knight takes. This is, hang on. What it looks like to me is eventually we're winning the knight. And if we win the knight, we'll be up 3 points. There we go. So queen d3 is the best move. I'm just hoping I'm hoping we can analyze to the point where we win the material. Sometimes it just takes a lot of moves, and it's not worth it. Alright, so I'm just going to do a count. Queen, queen, 2 rooks, bishop, 2 knights versus 2 knights and a bishop. And we got 6 pawns versus 6 pawns. So it's still a mystery. It looks like after bishop e3, we finally gang up on this knight and we win the knight. Because the bishop... But then bishop f6, rook f to d1. Yeah, so I'm just reading the moves up here. Let's see. Bishop e3, then bishop e3 like it shows, then bishop f6, then rook f to d1, piling up on this knight. Then castles, and then bishop takes d4, and then we win the knight. So I'm not going to go through all those moves because it shows it right here. So basically we win the knight. That's why we're up for almost 5 points. We're up a knight, and our position is just better. All right, so let's see if we can finish this game. So I'm going to delete those moves just to keep it neat. All right, so d4 was played in the game. Then, okay, the immediate next move was queen to d5, which was a huge blunder. The computer says it's now 8.46. And this is an easy one. The knight can simply take the queen. So this is Martin, a bot that's rated 250, pretty low rated bot, and a lot of times it loses its queen. And this is one of those times. So now you could still go through the moves, the best moves, to see if you're straight up winning a queen. Maybe the knight wins the knight back, or the bishop wins this bishop back, and it's not a clear queen up. But according to this rating, 8.63, you're up almost a queen. A queen is worth 9 points. So 8.63 means you're not quite up a queen. You're up almost a queen. But what this should, if the computer was smart, what it should say here is mate in 40 or mate in 30 or in 25. That's what it should tell us. But the computers are not advanced enough yet to tell us that. But that's the truth. This is a high enough rating where it's probably mate in 30 moves, maybe 25 moves. All right, so I'm just going to play out the game. Knight takes d5. Knight takes knight. This is what happened in the game. Queen f3. That was the best move. Then bishop e7 was played. At this point, we're so ahead in points that we don't really need to analyze the rest. You still can, but at this point you don't really have to. But I'm just going to play out the game. Bishop takes, knight takes, queen takes f7. The only move was for the king to go to d8. The best move is to capture, which I did. The best move is king to c8, which was played in the game. The best move is for the queen to capture the knight, which was played. The only move is for king to go to b8. Now over here it says main 12. Now it says 12.9. Now it says main 12. So in 12 moves it's an automatic mate. So if the opponent plays perfectly, it'll be mate in 12 moves. If they don't, then it'll be mate in less. So what actually happened was queen takes e7, g6, knight d7, king c8, bishop to f4, rook to d8, knight to b6, check. King had to move over, and then checkmate. So that was a game versus Martin. So basically, to sum up, if you have a 2-point advantage or higher, then you should win the game. Basically, you can either analyze your entire game, like we kind of did, or you can analyze right up into the point where it's a 2-point advantage, and then you can just save that part of the moves as your opening, and you can memorize that. And then every time you have a chess game, you'd keep doing that. You put the game into the analysis board, and then you keep playing each move until you have an advantage of 2 points. If it's less than that the entire game, then that means it's probably a draw, and it's a draw. Then you have to decide how many moves you're going to memorize, because it was still good moves. It means you played good moves. I'm gonna have more episodes like this about analyzing games, just so we can keep practicing. And I'm probably gonna play against the chess bots and just play different bots and analyze the games, and because there's all kinds of different levels, so it might be kind of fun. So if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. I'm trying to get 1,000 subscribers by Christmas. I'm also covering the U.S. chess championships, the men and the women's. So if you haven't already, you can watch those. And that's it. So I hope you got a lot out of this video, and I hope you have a great one.